Now, there is a term in football that I feel is starting to be used really, really loosely, and that is the term sleeping giant. Now, there are many absolutely massive clubs in English football. This is where the game came from. From the pioneers in Sheffield in the 1860s to the modern day, there are many clubs that have seen success over different periods of time. The best example of this is just how many former FA Cup winners now sit in the third division of English Football League One. Barnsley, Bradford, Wimbledon, Wigan, Bolton, Huddersfield, Cardiff, all in the third division. Now, I feel a lot of them clubs that sit in League One could be seen as sleeping giants. Some of them, I'm sure, will make their way back up the pyramid very, very soon. They're doing quite well. I remember when Coventry were in League One and League Two, people always said to me, they'll come back eventually, and it looks like we are at the moment. However, today I am visiting the definitive biggest sleeping giant in English football. I'm visiting a club with more FA Cups than Leicester, Crystal Palace, even my club Coventry City. A side that were playing last season in the 9th tier of English football and now promoted up to the 8th tier. Of course, I'm talking about Bury. Now, in my lifetime, I've always kind of known Bury as a League One, League Two side because they were a very well-established football league side, kind of a little bit of a yo-yo between League One and Two. That was up until the 2018-19 season when Bury would go on to be promoted automatically out of League Two to League One. Had some pretty decent players, a decent squad and decent morale. However, at the time, the whole squad were not getting paid for months and months and months. For the fans and for the community, the players saw the season out and were promoted to League One. So the 1920 season, Bury promoted to League One. They're going to be playing the likes of Blackpool, Sunderland, Coventry City, all sides that have won the FA Cup before, or so they thought. Before the season even kicked off, Bury were expelled from the English Football League, the first club to be expelled since Maidstone in 1992, and the first ever former FA Cup winner to be expelled from the Football League. This was due to years of financial mismanagement, debts, and quite frankly, neglect by a man named Stuart Day, who sold the club to a man named Steve Dale in 2018 for £1. You can't even get a bottle of water for that these days, can you? In fact, that season, I actually remember coming to Bury, despite us not playing them in the league. Rochdale were also in League One, and a lot of Coventry fans came to Bury before, had a drink, supported the local businesses, the local pubs. And I know that many other clubs did this throughout the season on their trip to Rochdale as well. Now, I hope I'm right. I have been to Bury before, and I remember this spoons being proper nice inside, so I'm gonna go get some food. Oh well, to be fair, it is literally exactly what I remember. It's like a small little theatre here in Bury. It's been turned into a Wetherspoons, proper boozer. You see, Bury were in massive financial trouble. They'd piled up loads and loads of debt, and they could no longer run as a sustainable football club. Now, I talk about previously how English football has an ownership problem. This is just another example, if not one of the biggest in modern day that we've seen. 1920 season in League One would see 23 teams play, meaning 3 were relegated. Of course, there was a global pandemic, so the EFL probably had their toughest ever PR season ever. Coventry City would go on to win League One. However, Bury FC would not play that season or the following season. This saw the formation of a Phoenix club, Bury AFC. However, they didn't play at Gigg Lane. The owner of Gigg Lane at the time was the owner of Bury FC, who had seen them get expelled out of the football pyramid. So Bury AFC were unable to play at Gigg Lane and were in fact playing in Radcliffe. And so after being expelled from the Football League in 2019, it wasn't until 2023 until we saw the return of Bury FC at their home ground, Gigg Lane, their home ground since 1885, the year that the club were formed. This was because Bury AFC and Bury FC merged together, which saw the resurrection of Bury FC in a different light, no longer playing professional football, EFL football, but in fact non-league football. Now, I'm sure Bury AFC was a fantastic alternative, especially for Bury fans that had lost that sense of belonging supporting a club. However, they still weren't playing in Bury. This town, whose club has won 2 FA Cups, has been here since 1885, went from 2019 to 2023 with no football team. And for me, what makes that even worse is this is an area of the world that gives us Man United, Man City, Liverpool and Everton are just an hour away. You've got the likes of Stockport, Salford getting so much investment from big owners, and yet Bury, one of the oldest clubs, not just here in Greater Manchester or in the Northwest, but in English football, with a fantastic history, were kind of left to rot. And if it wasn't for the takeover from the fans, it's now a fan-owned club, who knows what would have happened to this famous club. But today in 2025, I'm sure Bury fans would love to move on from the bad ownership and the uncertainty of the past and move on to what could be a very bright future. Today they take on Kidsgrove Athletic in the 8th tier of English football. Now, it's not the glitz and glamour of the FA Cup final or the Football League, but for these fans there's one very important aspect that overrules everything, and it's the fact that they're here at their home, Gigg Lane, which by the way is an absolutely cracking ground. Never been here before, but a proper throwback, a proper football ground. Capacity of just over 12,000. It is actually bigger than a couple of the grounds in the 2nd tier, the likes of Wrexham and Oxford. And the better thing about this is there's 4 stands here. The only thing that's a little bit weird here is the fact that it is an AstroTurf pitch, but in non-league football, AstroTurf pitches are just a normal thing. That's an extra bit of revenue that the club are going to be getting, hiring this pitch out to many different people. Whoever they want to hire it out to, they probably can. And not to get too in-depth on the opponents, Kidsgrove Athletic, I've been there a couple of times actually, one of my local sides when I was at uni in Staffordshire. Now, Kidsgrove average crowds of just a couple hundred, but here at Bury, they average crowds of just a couple thousand. Well, the crowds are still piling in here at Gigg Lane, but here we are, Bury versus Kidsgrove, the 8th tier, just remember that, of the English football pyramid. We've also got the Kidsgrove loyal over here. Big up to these lot. I absolutely love non-league football, and this is genuinely what going to the football was probably like in the 80s, the 90s. Proper atmosphere. This is the 8th tier of English football in what is a League One, could even handle the Championship standard stadium. Beers in the stands here, completely fine. I've even got a lid on the bottle of Pepsi. That says it all. Chance here for Bury. Oh, good save from the keeper. Well, we're 11 minutes in. I feel like that probably should have been a penalty, but I want to just say what I always say. Refs at every single level of English football are just terrible. Really not the most entertaining first half an hour of this game, still 0-0. Bury have had a few chances, but they've been offside more than anything. That lino's just waving his flag, it feels like, every 30 seconds in this game. I want to say Bury have been the better team. Kidsgrove have just been hoofing it every time Bury have come forward. Very boring first half. Goalless at the break. I wanted to kind of give a bit of a positive, you know, coming to Gigg Lane. Bury are all away from this ground for 4 years. It hasn't been an enjoyable first half, a frustrating one for Bury. Kidsgrove have had a game plan. I think they've actually dealt with Bury really, really well. Might come out second half and try and get a goal. They might actually just settle for a point here. I don't like mentioning this. I had 3.5 hours sleep last night. I got up at 4:30 to be here because of the train strikes. If this is 0-0, I won't be happy. Hoping for a goal in the second half. It'd be nice to see something from the home side. I would be very, very surprised if Kidsgrove get a goal, to be honest. I think they only really had one chance in that first half, and it kind of led to a corner that led to nothing. Also, I don't know how clear it is on camera, but Bury are very, very lucky they have an AstroTurf pitch, because it would be an absolute mudbath at this point. It has been tipping it down literally all game. Go on. Oh, good save from the keeper. Kidsgrove just hoof it out again. Still 0-0. A slightly better second half. Bury are knocking on the door. I feel like a goal is coming for the home side. There we go. Bury take the lead here at Gigg Lane. Not a 0-0 draw. Bury take the lead, fully deserved, by the way. Kidsgrove have sat back. Maybe they're actually going to put a little bit of pressure on Bury now, because they haven't all game. And that's the second for Bury. They have been ruthless in this second half. Well, no surprise there. I feel like the second Kidsgrove opened the floodgates. The second was only coming for Bury. They've been the better team, especially in this second half. They've piled on the pressure, fully deserved this 2-0 lead. Well, I know what's coming here. I know exactly what's coming here. He's going to drive the ball, and he's going to give a good long throw, because every team... Oh, I was about to tell you that every team have a long throw, but that weren't really a long throw. Closest chance Kidsgrove had all game. So today's attendance has just been announced, 3,055, and I mean, this again, I want to say it again, is the 8th tier of English football. I mean, at this level, it's totally unheard of. Kidsgrove's ground only holds 2,000 people. If everyone here wanted to go and watch Kidsgrove v Bury at Kidsgrove, at least 1,000 of us aren't getting in. Now, of course, I say Bury are a sleeping giant. Are they on paper a footballing giant? Absolutely not. But for the 8th tier of English football, this is totally unheard of. Well, not long left in this game. Will Bury make it free here? Oh, side netting. Well, we're now into the 5 minutes of added time. Both teams are just kind of seeing this game out. Nothing's happened this last 20 minutes. Well then, full time kick lane. Bury come away with 3 points. Well, definitely not the most entertaining of games. 3 points for the home side nonetheless. Bury, the biggest sleeping giant in English football, has to be the 8th tier of English football. I'm going to say it once again. Genuinely mental they are playing this low in the pyramid. But good luck to both teams this season. Good luck to Bury. I hope to see them back in the EFL soon. And I mean, I've given it all video about this being the 8th tier of English football. This is what truly matters. The players and the fans, and 3 points on a Saturday. These lot up here have got behind their team pretty much all game, and a well-deserved 3 points in the end for the Shakers.